How do we beat diabetes? By drinking our water, getting a good night of sleep, following Coach Maurice's caloric intake, and move each and every day. Let's knock this thing out of there. Hi friend, how are you doing? I hope all is well on your end, family, health, everything is going well. I hope you are still continue to be encouraged. Looking forward to our session each and every week. Who would have thought that we're on session number 20? Seems like yesterday we started this program and we got 26 weeks to do this. And I'm just so proud of you. I just want to remind you, please, if you need my help, send me your food log. You can always download that food log. It's available on our webpage as well as the curriculum that we're covering with you every week. And also you can your How Am I Doing chart. There's all kind of stuff you can download and it's available for you free of charge to help you stay more on track and have the support you need from us. So send me your full name, your body weight, and your minutes of activities, and I'll be glad to grade your food log and answer any questions that you may have free of charge. By not providing me with your full name, body weight, and minutes of activities, there will be a charge if I was to communicate with you regarding your nutrition plan. It's a simple process. I just want to capture the data and I will give you all my knowledge and no additional cost to you. So I hope you guys are enjoying this program. Remember, my email address is maurice@coachmaurice.com. All right? So last week we talked a little bit about the diabetes and prevention of diabetes. This week we're talking about how to be more active when you're away from home. As I mentioned time and time again, I love the research behind the program. I love the titles behind these programs. And again, if some of these titles sound similar, don't turn me off. Stay tuned. I always bring extra information, and I hope that you guys combined on each session that I've offered, for every session that I've offered, it's been overall a good session full of knowledge of information. So if you're driving, keep your eyes on the road. If you're home at the office, download the curriculum and let's go through this together. Today on the curriculum of session 20, we're going to start with page 3 and we're going to read the story of Sherry's story. Sherry's at risk of type 2 diabetes, so she takes a walk with her neighbor each morning. She also rides a stationary bike after dinner. She's been meeting her goal of being active for at least 150 minutes each week at a moderate pace or more. That's awesome. Sherry and her husband are planning to visit some old friends over Memorial Weekend. Here it comes, because again, the stories always relate to somebody listening, because these type of things develop in our lives all the time. Interruptions, right? Just life. It takes 6 hours just to drive to her friend's house, which means a lot of sitting. And once she gets there, Sherry won't be able to walk with her neighbor or ride her stationary bike. She's off her schedule. She's worried about that she won't reach her fitness goal that week. Sherry finds ways to stay active during the drive. She and her husband make a time for 2-minute fast fitness break every 30 minutes. That's asking too much to pull over every 30 minutes. If my wife had to ask me every 30 minutes to stop, I'll go crazy. So if that works for you, that's fantastic, but I don't know how logical that is for most people. Sherry tells her friend, that she is being active to prevent type 2 diabetes. I love that, especially if you call them ahead of time. You tell her the situation. Hey, I'm following a plan. I'll eat just about anything, but I'm managing my carbs and protein. That kind of, what friend would say no to you? They're probably interested in what you're doing because they want to pick up some of the pointers and apply it themselves after you leave. So let your friend know, hey, listen, I really want to stay active for 30, 40 minutes a day. Can we walk around where you live? Is there a gym nearby? I can pay the daily fee and just maintain that at the gym. Have that communication before you get there. So there is no excuse to why you cannot maintain that lifestyle even when you're away from home. Okay? So page 3 tells a good story that I think most of us can relate to. Let's turn over to page 4 and talk about how to cope with these challenges. Number 1. Challenge. I'm too busy seeing sights. Okay, but you're being active, right? I mean, as long as you're standing or moving, you're doing a great job. So seeing sights is a wonderful thing. Seeing sights while you're active, walk, bike, hike, ski, or swim or paddle is a wonderful, wonderful way to do it. As a matter of fact, look for sites that will require you to do that, but make sure you always get in shape before you go to these events months before so you don't get so sore or inflame your joints or cause more damage to your immune system because you went from being inactive to all of a sudden you're walking every day for a week, and then you come home after that and you're wiped out physically and mentally. Challenges. I'm visiting friends or family. So tell them that you are being active to prevent type 2. You don't have to mention type 2. And look for activity that they can do with you. Invite them to join you. Can we go to the park? Do you guys do any activities? Do you bike? Do you run? Do you swim? What have you been doing? I'd love to join you. Or can we make time while I'm visiting to do that? After dinner, in the morning, what works best for you? And I'll adjust my schedule to fit your needs since I'm staying with you, right? So work with them. I have to travel a long way, which means a lot of sitting. We understand that. Truck drivers goes through that. And when I used to own a gym in Madisonville, Tennessee, in the middle of nowhere, there was a trucker that drove down Highway 411 that commuted. That was his route on a weekly basis. And he knew every gym on that route. From, I think he started out in Atlanta, Georgia, and worked his way through Tennessee. But he knew every gym. And he would stop and pay the daily fee. He would come in, work out, spend about an hour. That was his break time. Jumps in the shower, change clothes. Wow, he's refreshed now. Now he can get behind the wheel and continue to drive. He had a plan. He mapped out his route. He knows when to stop, when to work out. Even at a truck stop, they can stop and walk around the rig or around the truck stop if they need to. There's no excuse why you can't plan to move no matter where you are, who you're visiting, or what your job requires you to do. There's always ways to do it. On page 5, the challenges are, I don't know my way around, so I don't know where to walk. You know what I tell my clients when they tell me that? Go 15 minutes one way in a straight line and 15 minutes back. When I had a big contract with the state of Tennessee, and when I had a break, I just knew downtown Nashville, Tennessee, a beautiful city everybody needs to visit. Beautiful. I got to know Nashville. I got to where I look forward to have that couple of hours in between sessions where I can go for walks, check out the stores. I turned it into a fun time. It was more like being on vacation, and I'm sightseeing, learning where everything is in Nashville because I love that city. Find ways to make the exercise fun. And now all of a sudden you're doing it not because it's exercise, but because you feel better and you're sightseeing. Some of the ways to cope with the CDC shares with us. Use walking as a chance to get to know the area. I did. Buy a map and explore. Ask local people where to walk. Find maps and routes and route ideas on your computer. Get a mapping app for your smartphone. Walk inside a local mall. I mean, there's just so many ways you can do it. There's no excuse why that you can't walk around because you're new in the area. And then the next challenge is I can't use my fitness center or home equipment. Find out if, one of the things I tell clients, if you're used to doing resistance training, you're going to be gone a week or two, especially traveling overseas, go to Amazon and buy the Versa tubes, Versa, tubes, Tubes. Purchase them. They send you a bag. They're about $20, $30. That's it. And there's 5 bands, 5 different colors. The black one is the hardest. The yellow is the easiest, as a rule of thumb. There's different companies that makes them with different colors. So can you still do resistance training in your hotel room? Absolutely. It's called planning ahead. You don't need to always have access to a gym to be active. That's planning ahead. You take your bands with you until you can get back home and go back to the gym. Okay? So stay active away from home is not as complicated. Everything goes back to planning ahead. Did you pack your bag before you went to bed? Are you taking an extra bag when you travel? That's your workout clothes. Take enough to where if one is in the washer, or if you don't have access to a washer and a dryer, take 3 to 4 pair of shorts. Take 3 to 4 t-shirts. Take 3 to 4, pair of socks. Make that the workout bag. And when I want to check into a hotel, the first thing I would do before I look at rates and the quality of the hotel, I'll look and see if they have a full gym. If not, I'll call and ask questions. Is it open 24 hours in case my schedule is busy? Do you have weights or just cardio only? Because if they have cardio only, then I'm taking my rubber bands with me. See, that's called planning ahead. And do I get up early and do it for 2 benefits? Number 1, it's out of the way in case we were in meetings throughout the day and I'm too fatigued by the time I get home. And 2, remember, when you exercise first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, you burn twice the fat. So I'll ask questions. I try to stay in hotels because of the gym. if there's no gym close enough to the hotel. If they don't have it, find a hotel that has a gym within 5 to 10 minutes away from the hotel. Maybe you can walk to the gym. That's a great way to warm up. Get that cardiovascular out of the way, workout, go in, hit the weights, and walk back. You get to sightsee, kill two birds at one time. You get to do your cardio and your weights, and now you feel really proud of yourself that you're traveling and you haven't got off your schedule. And when you travel, I like hotels because also they have the continental breakfast. Most continental breakfasts are designed the same exact way as all the others. You have your boiled eggs, your cereal, and your oatmeal. Now, yes, they have the bacon and the sausage. Avoid those. But you can easily sit down, grab a banana, grab a cup of yogurt, grab a couple of boiled eggs. Wonderful breakfast. Wonderful, healthy breakfast. Most places it's free. It's part of your cost. So it's all planned out if you have a strategy, if you map out what you want to do before you leave the house and get on that plane or get in your car to start traveling. If you plan ahead, if you have a clear vision, then there's no reason why you cannot maintain this lifestyle no matter where you travel to or who you travel with. You are committed to yourself. Just because you're traveling with a partner that doesn't want to work out doesn't mean you don't work out. You'll just excuse yourself from the hotel room and say, hey man, I'm going to go for a quick walk. I know you don't want to do that. I'll be back in a little bit. That's it. That's your time to get away, get your mind refocused, feel good. Now you're going to sleep better. You're going to stay on track. And it's going to make you smarter during those meetings because the more endorphins and as oxygen circulates your brain and the blood circulates your brain, the smarter you become, the better your memory works. It's a win-win when you're in meetings. So movement, movement, movement. And don't forget, your water intake and your sleep you never compromise on those no matter what. You can drink water anywhere you go to in the world, and you can walk anywhere you go to in the world. And you can sleep anywhere you go to in the world. So there's no excuse why you can't stick with at least 3 of the 4 pillars each and every day of the rest of your life, and then you manage the food the best you can. When it comes to food and you're traveling, there's an option that I pivot to because you don't have access to a kitchen. You don't have access to all the measurement cups and the scales and the things you use at the house to make your cooking and eating better. So how do you do it? Pivot to the food groups. And let me remind you what those are. Breakfast consists of 1 dairy, 1 fruit, and then a fiber/protein. Fiber/protein could be oatmeal or eggs, right? Those are pretty common, or cereal. As I said earlier about the continental breakfast, you're going to find fruits, you're going to find the dairy, and you're going to find the protein or the fiber. So if I just focus on food groups, I know that I grab 1 banana, 1 dairy, it could be a glass of milk or it could be a cup of yogurt, and then I'm going to get me a couple of scrambled or boiled eggs and maybe put some salsa on it. That's breakfast. And now I'm staying within the guidelines. I promise you, I'm not going to be more than a couple of 100 calories off at the most. And the quality is still there. I'm low on carbs. It's all good. So what is lunch if I'm traveling? Lunch is simple. It's 1 starch. And to simplify the 3 to 4 most popular ones, I get 1 serving of either rice, potatoes, corn, pasta, or bread. I get 1 of those 5 when I go to eat no matter where I'm at. That's 1. Vegetables are free food. So I got to have vegetables either added on the sandwich or in the form of a side salad, or the main entree could be the main salad. So I got to have my 1 starch, 1 vegetable, 1 meat. That could be tuna salad, chicken salad, deli meat, peanut butter. That's considered meat in a sense, not that it's meat, but it's the protein. You can do a peanut butter and banana sandwich, right? Those will last without a refrigerator. If in case you don't have a cooler and you want to take a sandwich because you're gone all day, take a peanut butter and banana, throw them in the front seat of the car. There's your lunch. You saved money. You're staying on track. You're going to feel satisfied and full. So lunch is 1 starch, 1 fruit, vegetables, and meat. And then dinner is 3 food groups. Fat, that's your oil to cook with, or when you order, you're going to have fat, either in the form of dressing on your salad, or it's going to be cooked in fat, either oil or butter. You can ask and they can tell you what it's cooked with, or if it's just baked with no oil or grease. Very, very unlikely. So basically dinner is vegetables, fat, and your protein, which is your meat. No carbs at night, no starches at night. Remember, that is the key to Coach Maurice's success over the 3+ decades of teaching thousands of people. No carbohydrates at night, especially before you go to bed. I give it to you at lunch, I'll give it to you at breakfast, but I ask you to avoid it at night. And then don't eat 2 hours before you go to bed. So it doesn't matter. I can do this in any county, in any state, in any country, based on what I just told you. Know your food groups and stick within that guideline, and I promise you'll come back a week later from vacation or your business trip and you haven't gained a pound because you walked, you took your shoes with you, you knew your food groups, you drank your water. That's it. That's called a lifestyle. That's not a diet that you have to be in the house, always around the house in order to follow the diet plan. Why do you think I don't like prepackaged meals? What do you do when you're on vacation? What do you do when you get away for a few weeks? What are you going to take all your prepackaged meals or have them ship them? I mean, come on, it's not realistic. That's why I don't like liquid diets, high protein diets. All these are unrealistic. And they're not healthy and good for you. All these companies that want to sell you on their prepackaged food, I want to say BS, is BS. Did you know the only thing that qualifies as good as cooking, and I don't think I've mentioned this up to this point, is these local chefs that are cooking fresh, organic food that you can run by and pick it up or they can deliver it to your house. Those, you could save money. It would cost a little bit more. If the average meal at home costs $4 to cook, when you order it from these local, not restaurants, but local chefs that are selling food, those will average about $6.50 a meal instead of $13 at a restaurant. So you're going to save money. They usually cook with organic food, clean food. It's a great option if you don't want to cook. You can tell them how many people are in the house. They can give them to you in single portions. It's wonderful. So you either cook 80% of the time, or you cook and you buy your meals from a chef that can cater it to your caloric intake and exactly your specifications. For example, if you tell them, I want my dinners to be vegetables, meat, and fat, I'll guarantee you that's all that they will fix you. They will not put any potatoes in there or corn or anything else that Coach Maurice has taught you. Or if you go out to eat, look for local restaurants, mom and pops, a lot better. Nothing is prepackaged. Most of the stuff is cooked fresh every day. And leave the franchise to, when there's nothing else left, you go to a franchise. But know that franchise sit-down type of restaurants and fast food restaurants are the same. If anything else, the sit-down franchise restaurant was going to offer more calories and more fat and more chemicals in the food than the fast food. And I know that's always shocking to hear. So, with that being said, the extra topic for today is diet tips for pre-diabetics. Again, cholesterol, blood pressure, as I said time and time again. Let me just share with you a couple of data here. This is good stuff. Worldwide, 5 to 10% of people with pre-diabetes develop diabetes each year, and up to 70% of people with pre-diabetes go on to develop diabetes. That's type 2, according to the research published in The Lancet in 2012. Taking preventive actions such as dietary changes can reduce this risk by between 40 to 75%, folks. Indeed, between 5 to 10% of people with prediabetes go back to normal levels each year, the study says. I see it all the time. All the time. Age is not an issue. You can always change where you are and get better. Now, the next stats, if you heard nothing so far, you got to hear this. This is so encouraging, so awesome, that it doesn't take much to move the needle. Results of diabetes prevention program. This program you're participating in right now in the U.S. have suggested that in people who are overweight, listen to this, each 2.2 pounds, that's 1 kilogram, they lose in a year can reduce the risk of developing diabetes by 16%. If you lose only 2.2 pounds per year, you can reduce the risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 16%. After 3 years, this would be equal to 58% reduction in risk. If you only lost 2 pounds a year, who couldn't lose 2 pounds a year? This is how encouraging this is. So how to do that? Again, as I mentioned some of those things, I'm going to repeat again, but that's part of our success. Just like it's the same Bible has been taught in the same church for thousands of years. Something about when you hear it over and over again, each time you hear it, it translates a little bit different, or you pick up messages that maybe you didn't pick up the first time. So allow me to share some of those things. What they're saying here in order to prevent, and in order to, and the title is how to tips for pre-diabetics. Number one, the glycemic index. Here we go. Seems like we mention this in every session. Is useful tool for measuring types of carbs and for choosing those that are helpful. It is based on how quickly sugar from food will enter the bloodstream. We know that, right? However, a food that contains carbs or sugar is not always bad. Fruit contains natural sugars, and whole grains are high in carbs. but they also provide fiber and other nutrients. They make them suitable in moderation for a person on a prediabetes diet. Again, the GI is an index or a list of food. It ranks food according to the rate of which they affect blood sugar levels. The highest score is 100 and the lowest is 0. Some food that causes blood sugar to spike exceptionally high may have a value above 100. I've told you that anything 70 or above you need to avoid. Sample sugar value. Why do I like visuals? I'm going to give you an example, and I'm looking at it right now, and I didn't get the aha moment until I read it, and I was like, my goodness, I had no idea. Did you know that a fruit roll-up, one serving, is 99 on the GI level? And remember, I told you 70 or higher is too bad. And most of us can eat a couple of those fruit roll-ups. While, for example, cornflakes, the healthy cereal, is 93 on the GI level. Okay? White rice is 89. When I see this, it makes me not want to eat this stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, I really did not know that until I printed it and looked at it. I did not know that. That doesn't mean you could never eat rice, but I'm going to eat it in moderation. While a glass of skim milk is only 32, that's below the 55. Or an apple is only 39. It's one of the best fruits you can eat when it comes to diabetic or folks with cholesterol and other health symptoms like blood pressure. Okay, so visual is important because I'm looking at the list of many things and it gives me that aha moment. Watermelon, 1 cup is 72 points, too much. Again, it's seasonal, enjoy it in moderation, no more 1 cup per serving. Okay, now, some other helpful hints. Food that contains refined sugar usually have a higher GI level. Whole food tends to have lower GI level. Sweet potatoes, most vegetables, whole fruit, and legumes have lower GI value. As most fruits and vegetables ripen, their sugar content increases. Keep that in mind. Pasta tends to be a low GI food. And then, of course, other food such as potatoes and others you need to avoid. When you count carbs, cutting out carbs altogether is not necessarily helpful. This is why I'm against the keto diet. I'm against the high-protein diet and the Atkins diet because they pretty much cut out all the carbs, or they give you less than 50 grams of carbs a day. That's insane. A medium baked potato has 80 grams of carbs. How do you function? How are you going to mow the grass in the summer? How are you going to function every day on 30 to 50 grams of sugar a day? You're going to hit ketosis, and it's extremely damaging for you. It's not healthy, especially if you're a beginner and taking multiple medications. So I recommend, anywhere from 50 up to 100 to 120 grams of carbs a day. But I don't want you to have to count that. Manage your calories. I taught you so far when you can have your fruits, when you can have your starches. That's between breakfast and lunch. You avoid them at dinner. Don't overcomplicate it. I don't want you to have to monitor too many things. Okay? I hope that you guys have really enjoyed this session today. The focus is always to bring you the latest knowledge and the truth behind weight loss, and to share with you the success of the thousands of people that have lost tens of thousands of pounds and come off medications. All you have to do is visit our website and see what we're doing in communities and how we're changing people. Share this message with your friends, with your family members. We want to make a permanent change with people. No conning, no gimmicks, no selling products to help you get there. You can do it the old-fashioned way regardless of age, okay, or health issues. I'm your coach, Coach Maurice. You can always email me, maurice@coachmaurice.com. Remember, you don't have to be perfect to be healthy. You just have to be consistent. Don't forget to drink your water, move for at least 30 minutes a day, get a good night of sleep, and splurge only a couple of times a week. Stay consistent, stay with the message, and if you have any questions, I'm here to help you. Shoot me an email. Great talking to you, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Thank you.